has appointed Mineral Resources Minister Gwede Mantashe as the acting police minister with immediate effect. He will hold the role until Professor Firoz Cachalia steps in from the 1st of August, following his retirement from Wits University. Meanwhile, the National Police Commissioner Fannie Masemola has confirmed that his deputy, Lt General Shadrach Sabiya, is on leave. This comes amid explosive allegations by the KwaZulu-Natal Police Commissioner Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi of a criminal syndicate within the South African Police Service's leadership. And for more on this, we are joined by Security Strategist and retired Interpol Ambassador Andy Mashaile. Andy, good afternoon, and thank you for joining us on Africa Update.
Lulu, good afternoon to you and your heavyweight show listeners. It's time that you and I jump into the lion's den and dance with the lion.
Andy, it's always a pleasure having you on the show. Now, let's talk about Gwede Mantashe as the acting police minister. Why are we not seeing the two deputy ministers of police being elevated to police minister, at least one of them?
Lulu, it tells you and I very simple, very clear, non-complicated truth that says I don't have confidence in the deputies, number one. Number two, I want to throw this in our line of discussion. Minister Mantashe is the acting police minister for the acting police minister, Firoz Cachalia. We are seeing all of these moves, strategic tactics, to try and stabilize in the minds of people that there is a minister who will be in charge of the process.
Do you think Mantashe possesses the necessary expertise and qualities to effectively lead the police ministry, particularly in light of the current challenges that the SAPs are facing?
I don't think so, Lulu. He does not have the expertise in policing and law enforcement or the criminal justice cluster. There's no experience of having at work in the space, but experience in other fields. One, experience as a leader out there long before being in government. So one of them would be the experience as a Secretary General who had under him a sizable number of members or people that he would lead his executive committee on. For the second thing is, remember that he is the chairperson of the ANC in South Africa. So the president would look for someone that I can trust. Leave alone the shenanigans, disagreements, and many other things. The president would definitely look at a person who is closer to him from a cabinet point of view, informed by the dynamics outside of government, and those dynamics being one, he is the chairperson of the ANC and the others that I have mentioned.
Now, what do you make of the National Commissioner of Police, Fannie Masemola's decision to place Lt General Shadrach Sabiya on leave amid the allegations of a criminal syndicate within the SAP's leadership? And do you think this move was premature ahead of the judicial inquiry?
Lulu, I foresee two things. One, let me start with the second question. One, yes, I think that the move is premature. It is brought about by pressure and many other things that would relieve the National Commissioner and the system of the pressure. Let me go back to the first part of your question. I foresee General Sibiya going to the Labour Court and saying constructive dismissal, number one. Number two, unfair labor practice if the first charge is not sticking, that of constructive dismissal. But I can foresee, as a former shop steward many moons ago, I would sit down and say, Shadrack, your rights, your labor rights have been violated. Secondly, I don't know if he was served with a document that says you are charged with misconduct A or misconduct B, suggesting, Lulu, the element of labor relations, balancing it out with the heat that the system is experiencing. Remember all of these moves, the minister being asked to stay at home and Sibiya being asked to stay at home means one thing. We want to reduce the heat on the system before the system explodes or implodes.
Now, as a crime expert, Andy, do you believe that the allegations of the South African Police Service's leadership being infiltrated by syndicates indicates a new wave of state capture within the policing service? And what implications might this have for the integrity of the institution?
If these allegations tend to be true, yes, there is police capture within the state. Police capture means criminal justice cluster capture. What am I talking about? Them being involved with criminals. We see the capture part of the element of the NPA. You and I have learned that 47 prosecutors were arrested for stealing dockets. Now, when you take a one step backwards, you realize that police arrest individuals and they take the dockets to NPA for decision, whether it's a prosecutable, winnable case or a non-prosecutable case, what they call non-prosecute. It is in that background that you and I realize that the integrity of the organization of the Department of Police is now contaminated with those individuals wearing uniform but being employed invisibly so by criminals or organized crime gangs, as we have seen in the unfolding week. The connections between Tate Matlala, between Tate Mkhorosi, between Tate Mkunu, and many of others that have cropped out of the woodwork now. The matter of General Mkhwanazi having it covered up for a case against the former National Commissioner Ntatete. A lot of things are now cropping out of the woodwork, which will impact negatively on the trust on the police. Remember now, the trust on the police is very low, 22% over the lowest in the last 27 years. And it suggests one thing. We are having some serious challenges with regard to integrity, reputation, and most importantly, trust in the police.
And speaking of trust, the public has lost trust in the police and just the SAPS as a whole. How can this be rectified? How can the public be drawn in, especially when you look at the setting up of the the Commission of Inquiry, and that has been set up by the president, and also a number of inquiries that are being spoken of, and we saw early this morning when the policing committee in Parliament sat and was debating and having a discussion about the different inquiries that are coming up and how they think it should be better handled. And they have a time frame, I think the 23rd of July. So how then does the SAPS ensure, including the judiciary, because they've also been brought into the spotlight?
One, competent leadership. Two, leadership of the police that understands customer experience. Three, having a leadership that would work hand in glove with various communities. Four, visiting those communities to instill confidence, to listen to people who might want advice on case number 1 or 2 or 3, or advice on what happened to my case. I long opened the case and I've never even received an acknowledgement of my case. I need to check if my case is on the system. Those things, those small little touch points in the customer experience will definitely increase the trust and confidence in the police. But without doing this, you are going to end up lower than 22%, as found out in the report released by Human Science Research Council a few days ago.
Now, the disbanding of the political killings task team has raised concerns, particularly in provinces like KwaZulu-Natal. What implications may this decision have for addressing violent crime and political assassinations, and how should the South African Police Service prioritize these cases?
I heard General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi saying he was given the instruction to disband the political killings task team, but that task team still operates. My assumption is that it doesn't operate as a political killings task team, but still does what it was doing from an investigations, stopping and recovering point of view of many other things, firearms and arresting of suspects and prosecutions, and eliminating those who want to kill the police or those who point firearms at the police. So officially, we have learned that letters came from the office of the minister to disband or disestablish the political killing task team. But in reality, it still operates as we listen to him talk in the press conference.
Now, the opposition party, the Democratic Alliance in the country, has confirmed that Senzo Mchunu is now officially under investigation after charges were laid against him. What now for the minister?
The minister must expect an arrest. If you ask me what I would do, Lulu, I would chase the minister and make sure that the minister is arrested. The minister appears in a court of law, has its own day in a court of law. A lot of things are going to unravel to come out of there, because obviously there will be witnesses, and General Mkhwanazi would be one of those who provide evidence, like we have seen in the press conference, the text messages from WhatsApp and many other platforms that he might have extracted that information. Secondly, I would, as the minister, myself, go to the court of law and say, here am I, or at the nearest police station and say, here am I, process me so that I can be able to have my day in court, so that I can be able to apply for bail, so that I can be able to show some remorse one way or the other. I am not saying the minister is guilty or not guilty of all of those things. The court of law and the commission will help us understand and unravel what is going on. But it means I was just speaking earlier on, Lulu, looking at a situation where when he gets to KZN or he flies to KZN, General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi would be waiting at the airport to arrest the minister, which will create a serious embarrassment. But I don't think it will go that route. The minister will present himself at that nearest police station. Obviously, the investigating officer will be known to the minister, and I'm sure there will be meetings where the investigating officer goes to the minister, or the minister goes to the investigating officer for processing. Processing means filling in the documents, crossing the T's and dotting the I's in terms of the next court appearance.
All right. And Andy, the portfolio committee of the police is sitting in Parliament trying to make decisions with regards to the commission of inquiry, whether it is worth going that route or using an alternate route. What do you think will come out of that commission, if you have had a chance to just listen in or watch a bit? And also, Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi, is he going to get wrapped over the knuckles for his media briefing within the police service, internal structures?
I listened to my former colleague in the anti-corruption, ethics and anti-corruption space, Lt Firoz Cachalia. I think it's yesterday, if not the day before. He addressed a press conference and he indicated that the provincial commissioner of KZN was not supposed to have gone the route that he has gone. So meaning that the new minister or the acting minister is not happy with how General Mkhwanazi conducted himself. So it might create an element of disciplinary action, but I doubt that we can go that route because it would be interpreted as intimidation of the provincial commissioner, Lt General Mkhwanazi. I don't think anyone would want to unleash or deliver hit onto General hit, meaning hit like in energy, not like in hitmen. They will not expose him to heat to fire because it might be interpreted incorrectly out there. We saw the matches even yesterday, the big matches. So those matches would turn around and say, we told you that they will be coming from Lt Mkhwanazi. Hence our march 2 or 3 days suggesting that you should keep your hands off General Mkhwanazi.
Yes. Well, Andy, unfortunately, we are going to have to leave it there. But thank you so much for joining us on Africa Update. It's always a pleasure. That is security strategist and retired Interpol Ambassador Andy Mashaile joining us on the line. And it is that time where we say